Hey, Tom Sciacca here. Today I'm going to go over my airline travel bag. I used to fly every 2 weeks or so for quite a while. I'd fly around and I got a chance to play with my bag or my bags over the years and adapt and that type of thing. And I stopped flying for a little bit. I just flew again this past weekend. I broke out my bag, the one I've used for a few years, and I had fun, as I always do, playing with kits. I like to adjust them, as many of you do. So today I'm going to show you this one kit, and the reason I'm doing this is in part because I'm switching kits. Now as I go through this kit, I've got a little anxiety or apprehension about OPSEC, operational security. I don't like telling people what I have on me. So I've always had a concern about showing my personal kits and videos. But because I've decided that after using this bag for years, it's ripping a little bit, and I don't think that's a sign of a proper bag being poorly made. I've used it a lot. So because of that, I've decided my next bag will be a different one next time I fly. So when I'm traveling, you won't necessarily know what I have or where it's kept, that type of thing. So in my head, I'm still maintaining my operational security. So that's why I'm willing to show off this bag. Now, I'm not so much saying that this is the right bag. This is the bag that worked for me. And I've used several bags, and I'm excited about the next bag I use. What's more important to me is the contents of the bag that I'm going to show you. So first thing is in the back, well, let's see, it's got a shoulder strap. And to me, it's important to have everything in front of me. I'm not a big fan for airline travel of having a backpack, so I like to be able to access it in front of me. With a backpack, you can't do that so much without taking it off. So that's one thing that's important to me. I want to be able to reach things, if I want to sling it in front of me, that type of thing. That's important. So the first thing in my bag, let's see where to start. I am thinking right here, the zipper little pouch on top. And what I keep in there, you can hear some things rattling around, medicines. And I just use a Ziploc bag. And in part, the reason I use a Ziploc bag instead of maybe a higher quality bag is because I like to go through them. I like to toss out the Ziploc bag and kind of restart. I like to go through my kits often. That's part of the fun of making kits, as you may know. But in here I've got some aspirin, some chapstick, some Tums, and I always carry KIO3, which is a potassium pill. You can check those out yourself. Good information on that. So that's the medicine bag right up top. And set that over here. Next is, and that pouch is empty. Next is the back here. Now my goal in having an airline travel bag is to be able to take care of myself anywhere, no matter what. I want the basics. It could be a survival situation, it could just be a challenge where you lost your baggage. So in here I like to have the stuff to get by. So for example, undies. Now you know what my undies look like. Yep. This is, let's see, what is this? And I use rubber bands for everything, by the way. Oh yeah, these are kind of survival long johns. Pantyhose. Yes, I have pantyhose in my bag. I'm confessing. Next is tissues. Tissues are extremely important, not just for blowing your nose, but you get in a situation in a bathroom and maybe there's nothing there that you need. Next is socks. I think socks are extremely important. In fact, how many pairs? I think I just have one pair in here. So the point is, if I get stranded overnight without my luggage, I've got some basics, or if my feet get wet, or anything, I've got some basics I can get through really as long as I want. You might say, well, it's just one clean pair. Well, if you have one clean pair on, you wash another pair overnight, you can make it last as long as you want. So right here, I can get by as long as I want. And dental hygiene is important. I've got my emergency toothbrush and toothpaste. And of course, I've got my full travel kit in my checked bag. So hopefully you can retrieve that at some point. Some extra Ziploc bags. I think they're important. You can use them for carrying water and any number of things, gathering things. Next is a first aid kit. A very basic one. I have a more complete one in my checked bag, of course. But I threw some extra things in here. It's got the basics of a first aid kit. I like to have a sewing kit. I think that's important. And I've got my safety pins. Something about fastening things. As you notice, I always have rubber bands on my wrist. I learned that years ago while moving. I had a box of rubber bands with me. And it seemed like I needed to use them for everything. Wrapping things, rolling things, that type of thing. So I always carry rubber bands on me. I like to have safety pins on me. They just have so many uses when traveling. Set that there. And that's it for that pouch. Oh, and back here, I have a clock and a thermometer, a compass and a thermometer, and this has another light. I like to have lights on me. You can see it's not super bright, but I like to have backup. I've got a light in my pocket, and others, in my opinion, 1 is none, 2 is 1. So if one of my lights fails, I still have backup. And also you see on the outside here my water bottle. Now when you go through airport security, this has to be empty. So I dump it out right before I get through security, right before I go through security. Once I get through security, I find a place to fill up my water bottle, and I don't have to spend $5 or whatever it is on a water bottle and use the junky plastic bottles. Plus, in an emergency situation, I can boil with this, treat water, that type of thing. And I've got my canteen, or my little, what do you call it, a canteen cup. With a cup, I can do so much out of this. Again, I can purify water, or I can just drink out of it. I can brush teeth out of it. I can bathe out of it. I can do so many things out of this. It stores right here on the side. And most packs have that kind of pouch. Let's see. Okay, so this side, I have a couple bandanas. Bandanas are extremely important. Bathing, showering, covering. You know, you can wet it and it can become a filter, 2 of them, or if you have someone with you or you want to help someone, you can loan it up, or it can be a tourniquet or a blood stopper. So many things you can do with a bandana, extremely important. Or just keep yourself, get it wet and, make yourself a do-rag and keep yourself from getting heat, frustration or whatever. Next thing is a survival blanket. And these are extremely important. I talk about these things all the time. I'm a huge fan of them. They will retain up to 90% of your heat. Simply put, this little thing can save your life. Or it can make you more comfortable in a cold airport on a floor or something. Next is water purification. And I have a couple different ways of doing that. I've got the old Polar Pure, and there's different, I don't think Polar Pure is available anymore, but I like it. And there's a multitude of different types of water purification tabs available out there still. And then the Sawyer mini water filter. I think that's a nice thing to have to get fresh water. And I also have in here, interesting, I forgot I had this in here, a ferro rod. Now, I always have ferro rods on me. I've got one in my pocket, I've got one over here, but when I have to check my bag, I can't carry this Leatherman Wave with me, so I like to have multiple ferro rods, and they're for emergency fire starting. Good to have. And on top of that, I've got a little bundle of extra ferro rods here. My thought behind that is, well, I own Camping Survival, and we sell ferro rods, so there's some value in this to me. In the right situation, maybe this can even buy me out of a situation, or I can do some trade or something. Just something of real concrete value, in my opinion, something good to have. And that's it for that pouch. So let's flip this back, open this up. Next, now normally in here, in fact, that's what caused this rip here. Normally I have my laptop jammed in here. I checked this out before I got this bag. It just fit my laptop, but it was still kind of tight. So I have that, and then my charger. I also bring my tablet. I like to use this for reading and doing all types of stuff on the plane. I think it's just good to have. And if I need to work and my laptop isn't working, I still have this. Next is, I know a lot of really good travelers. People that travel daily, weekly, they fly like crazy, and they have nice professional organized bags to keep their stuff in. Again, I like Ziplocs. This one's getting kind of ratty, it's ripped, so it's about time to replace it. And I probably will, and at that time I'll go through all my stuff and maybe check them all and see which ones work, which ones don't, if I need to add anything. That's good. Next in here is some books. I think they're important to have. And let's see here. Edible Wild Plants. I've got 3 books. Now, a book's not going to do you much good if you're out foraging and you're trying to find edible plants. What this is, I've been studying edible and medicinal plants for over 10 years now, and I forage. I've learned from great people, and I still continue to learn, and every time I go in the woods to forage, I still bring a book. This is my favorite. Over the years, it still is. But I bring others too, because it's good to have more than one picture, more than one reference for a plant, because you can make mistakes. But So that's important to have these. Plus, I like to brush up on it on the plane. You know, if I'm bored, or it's just good to have some good reading material. Now let's see here. So let's see. Here's something interesting. I was hesitant to mention this, but you hear that jingle. Some valuables. Depending on the situation you find yourself into, if you need to barter or trade, a guy like me might want something like this more than the dollar bills in the pocket. Just think about that. And traveled with this many times. And the other thing about OPSEC too is I'm the kind of guy who's always watching his back. It's just my nature. I watch my back, I watch my flanks. I like to be aware of things. I don't take my eye off this. So you're thinking, I can't believe you're showing people. Well, I'm pretty tight about security, so keep that in mind. And next is food. Now I've already eaten some of this stuff, but I like to, every time I travel I go through here and I add stuff, I take out stuff. And this is the kind of things that get you calories, and this will keep you fed. What I originally had in there for a few days or so, if you can't replenish anything else, or it just keeps you getting getting cranky on the plane because you're hungry or while waiting and that type of thing, and keeps you from spending a fortune in the airport. Just good to have some good munchies. And next thing is another munchie and hand sanitizer. I'm just a fan of having those in airports. Handy wipes, good for hygiene, cleaning up. And I change this out periodically, but this is just a pen. I think it's important to have a pen, and it has a little flashlight on it, another flashlight. And the last thing is this right here. This is actually a knife sharpener, and I keep it right next to my pen. Just something good to have with you, maybe while you're traveling. So, that's a knife sharpener. Granted, I don't have any knives on me while I fly, but I do have them in my checked bag, so I can reload myself when I get to my destination. And so I over the years, again, I've added things, I've taken out things. My next trip, I'll change it. In fact, that's a good point. I'd like your feedback, please. Tell me what you think of this kit. Tell me what's in your kit. Tell me what you think I can lose, what I can add. Please, I'd love your comments. Next time I fly, I'm going to change my kit. That's just what I do. I'd like your feedback, please. Thank you for visiting Camping Survival. Have a great day.